mudnayd adaa maraye.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أولا السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. رمضان كريم إن شاء الله. عسوك أن صدام بيسي نوصل بالعنى chapter كيني أفراد non-metals ga أنا كقصة هذا اللي مركب first two element of non-metals which was hydrogen and nitrogen. First one was hydrogen and the second was nitrogen. So this apparatus was the last our lectures or last our lessons that we have concluded for our previous lessons. Inshallah waxay noogu soo dambeysay halkan ay ahayd waa nitrogen cycle-ka. Marka nitrogen cycle-kaas aynu kasoo warrano waxay noogu dambeysay nitrogen-ka sida atmosphere-ka looga soo qabto sida atmosphere-ka loogu soo celiyo. Intaas ay concept guud sida atmosphere-ka looga soo qabto ee dhulka looga geliyo cycle-ka ama route-ka ay marto iyo sida hawada dib loogu celiyo kadibna hawada ay ku soo noqoto dhulka ugu soo noqoto. Cycle-ku marka macnihiisu waxa weeyaan hawada ku jirta hawada laga soo qabanaya dhulka la gelinaya process-ka darkaysa martaan and then hawada dib u gashaa also saasun u wareegaa route-kaasi. Intaas ay noogu soo dambeysay. And I hope you get a point for all the lessons. So today we are going to start some translations of the above apparatus. Some translations that we are going to study something about the above apparatus, right? The above apparatus. So the first translation that we are going to study will be number one, the conversion of nitrogen from air to nitrate. So the first conversion will be it means the change of nitrogen from air. It travels from the air and then make nitrate in the soils. So nitrogen is an element that are present in air means. Conversion means this nitrogen is being changed from air and then this nitrogen is changed into nitrate and this nitrate is present into the soil. So that's the first conversion is that happen from nitrogen of being traveled from the air and then deep into the soil. That's the first translation is we have studied. Okay. In the heat. So in the heat of the lightning flash, it means before the rain, there is a heat and also there is a flash. Okay, there is a heat and there is lightning flash. So heat of the light flash, nitrogen and oxygen reacted to form nitrogen. This helps means okay, heat of light flash helps nitrogen and oxygen to react together. These two elements combining together to form nitrogen oxide. So this is a compound. Nitrogen oxide is compound. So it is a compound from the combination or reaction between nitrogen and oxygen. The reaction between nitrogen and oxygen with help of or with the presence of heat, light, flash. Okay, heat, light, flash. This is what the helping for the combination, the reactions of these two elements. So this dissolves. It means nitrogen oxide dissolves. Okay, nitrogen oxide, which is a compound that resulted from after being combined with nitrogen and oxygen, will dissolve. So this dissolve means nitrogen oxide dissolves. Okay, to form an acid rain. Okay, not from, it's a form. Okay, not from, it's a form, right? Not from, it's what? A form. It's a form, right? It's a what? It's a form. It's not from. It's a form, right? See that? Said that. So form, this dissolves to form an acid rain. Okay. It means after nitrogen oxide being dissolved in a rain or water that's been rained, that rain will be converted into an acid rain. It means an acid. It means a pH less than 7. Okay, that raining, that water run from the sky will be having a pH less than 7, which is very acidic. which is very acidic. So, which react with compound in the soil to make nitrate. After combining with this nitrogen in the soil, it will mix or form a nitrate, which is salts. This is what? A salt form. Nitrate means salt form. So that's the first conversions. So something else will be happening. Some bacteria can also convert nitrogen to nitrate. Some bacteria that are present in the soil. Some bacteria that are present. Some microorganisms. It means bacteria. When we are saying it's a microorganisms that are present in the soil. So some of them, it's not all the bacteria, it's not all the germs. Some bacteria that are present in the soil can also, it means have also ability to convert. It means to change nitrogen to nitrate, to change in this nitrogen element to this nitrate. It means a form of compound or a form of salts. So the main function of bacteria will be conversion nitrogen to nitrate also. Okay, also. So that bacteria acts as like their nitrogen fixing. They are called. This is the name of bacteria. After bacteria is being converted nitrogen to nitrate, that bacteria is called nitrogen fixing bacteria, or say nitrogen fixing. Okay. They live in soil. It means the bacteria live in the soil. So the conversions of nitrogen to nitrate will take place in the soil. Or swelling, not only for the soil, or swelling called root nodules. It means the site of growth of root, root in a plant. That's called nodules. Nodules means the site of growth of plants, whether root or branches of leaves. Right? So now we are in soil. So the parts that are penetrated or parts that are present in the soil, part of plant that are present in the soil is called root. So root has nodules. Nodules means the growing part of the root. So it might either present in the soil normally, or it might either present in plant root nodules on the root of the bee. So particularly bee and pin, and also colorful plants. This plant is root, or this plant's nodule root is, it may present for this bacteria which take part for the conversion of nitrogen to nitrates, right? So it's present in two sites, soil or root nodules of some particular plants, which be pin and clover plants, right? And the bacteria itself will be called nitrogen fixing bacteria. So how human turn nitrogen into a fertilizer is after a human being consumed nitrogen. It means the element of nitrogen. Don't forget that this element of nitrogen is the element which formed the protein. If it is not present in the protein will not become a protein. Right? The protein will not protein. Is the only element which is extra for, or which you differentiated the lipid and carbohydrate from proteins will be only this element. Okay, only this element. So human it means change nitrogen into a fertilizer factory. So they make it in fertilizers factories. These are compounds. This human nitrogen are compounds such as ammonium phosphate. This ammonium phosphate is what? Fertilizers. So farmers breed them on the soil. So farmers will be using ammonium phosphate in a form of fertilizers, and then they spread throughout on the soils. They are going to planting something or some materials. They are going to plant some materials, right? So that's the first point we are going to study today. Will be the conversion of nitrogen. Okay, conversion of nitrogen to nitrate in different places or different things. So the second point will be from nitrate to proteins. Okay, from nitrate to proteins. So plants take nitrate through their roots. So plants absorb nitrate through their roots, because nitrate is not elements that are only present in its own in the soil, but it dissolves in water. So after being dissolved in water for this nitrate, the plant is absorbed through their roots, okay, through their roots, and convert them to proteins, and then they make a proteins, okay. So plants absorb nitrate and transform it or change it or convert it, that nitrates that are present in the soil to proteins. So what's protein? What's protein? Protein is what? Primary important of growth for every living things. Okay, for every living things. So that's the second. The third point that we are going to study today will be from plants to animals. Okay, another regime from plant to animals. Another regime from plant to animals. Most of animals gain their proteins from what you call it plants, because plants are primary source of protein. Primary source of protein. If there is no plants, there will not be animals that we are going to consume. We are going to consume, and that we are going to gain for what you call it proteins. So call it proteins. So from plants to animals. Animals eat. Okay, animals means eat plants. Animals eat plants to gain proteins. After animals being eaten a plants and eaten in a turn are eaten by other animals. So another animals will be consumed means, okay. So some animals like cow will be eat a plants, and that animals which eat a plants human being may also eat. So the life cycle will be from plant to animal to human. Okay, to human. That's the point we are going to specify. The protein are broken down into amino acids. So that protein is which animals are consumed from plants and also another animal. Another animal, it means human being also consumed for that animals with their meat. So the proteins are broken down into amino acids. That proteins have been broken down into amino acids. Also, every protein that you gain it from animal or from plants will be destroyed into their subunits or to their smallest unit, which is called amino acid. So some amino acid is what? Amino acid is what? Unit of protein. Amino acid is a unit of protein which consists of 5 parts. So after being in the circulation is amino acid, and its parts will not completely circulated or will not completely flow through your circulations, because there is a unit which is present in amino acid and also it's very poison, and that's we call amine group, or say NH2. NH2 is called amine group, and that amine group will be cut from after being destroyed into amino acids. It's not through the circulation, it's because it's very poison and it can be caused a renal disease, renal damage. The protein are broken down into amino acid. It means the unit of protein is and during digestion. During the digestion. So during destruction of macromolecule into micro, okay, which is soluble and absorbable into the blood vessels or taken from the elementary tract into your what? Blood vessels to the target organs, which are required to gain an energy. We are required to gain an energy, right? So that building up again to form a new proteins. The amino acids which being destroyed from proteins again will be building up. Okay, this amino acid which from protein and then go to your new body tissue will also building up again to form a new proteins. Another new protein will be formed after it interpenetrates with your what's you call it organs, with your organs, to be strong with that organs. In this way, proteins are proteins. In this way, proteins are protein. Proteins are, this is a duplicated. Proteins are a passed along. Okay, proteins are passed along the food chains. It means food chains, the process or mechanisms that from primary source to secondary source to tertiary source that we call food chain. Food chain means the process that different organisms are feed themselves. Beginning from, it means the grassroots, and also some animals like cow may feed that and they gain a proteins, and that animal might feed a human being and human being may gain from a proteins, and that process that this happening we call it is a food chain. So you need them to building up your body tissue. So that protein you need from to building up your body tissue. So body tissue to be strong or building up, it requires it requires what? A protein. Protein is the only things which building up your body tissue. Fourth, excretion and decays. So excretion and decays of nitrogen. Animals excrete ammonium compound. This ammonium is come from a nitrogen. Animal excrete, after animal is being eaten, proteins which derived from another animal or also plants, animal may excrete ammonium compound. So after being excreted for this compound, bacteria also feed on the remaining of dead plants or animals. Okay, the bacteria which are present in the soil also feed the remaining, okay, the rest of the dead plants. If the plant is dead or animal is dead, okay, but of this will be bacteria will be consumed, and after bacteria being consumed, this we are called that this plant is dead and animal is dead, that bacteria is being consumed. We are saying bacteria will make it on decay. The bacteria will make them on decay. Okay, the bacteria will make them on a decay, producing ammonium compound, and it produces an ammonium compound also. These are converted into nitrate by nitrifying bacteria, and this bacteria will convert the nitrate which is from dead animal or dead plants by nitrifying bacteria. 5. 5. From nitrate back to nitrogen. Okay, drive it into the air. Okay, it's just from the soil into the air, because this is not present in what? In the soil. This is not present in the soil, and this is not present in the air. Okay, nitrate only present in the soil, and nitrogen only present in the air. So from nitrate back to nitrogen. So what was the first 4 points we are mentioning? From nitrogen to nitrate, from nitrogen to nitrate, from nitrogen to nitrate. But now it is from nitrate to nitrogen. Bacteria call it denitrifying. It means the removal of nitrate bacteria completely the cycle. Okay, it removed from the cycle of the soil. They live in heavy wet soils. They live in the heavy and wet soils. They break down into nitrate, releasing back into their areas, and then back into the areas, because it originated from the forest, from the air, and then back to the areas. So the next point we are going to conclude will be the property of nitrogen. Okay, the characteristics of nitrogen will be okay our last topic of this of the last topic of today. So property will be including these 4 points, the major 4 points that we are going to mention it in today. It's a colorless gas with no smell. There's no color and there's no smell. Okay, there's no color and there's no smell in nitrogen. You cannot see the color of it and you cannot smell it. It is only slightly soluble in water. It's different. It's slightly. It's very little. It's very little soluble in water. Okay, very little soluble. Slightly soluble in water. 3. It's very reactive compared with oxygen. It's very reactive compared with nitrogen. Since it's a group 3. Since it's a group 5. Since it's a group 5, because there is 3 elements which remain from their outer shell or to be a full outer shell. So it's very unreactive compared with oxygen. Because of oxygen, two electrons will be missing from their outer shell, and nitrogen 3 electrons will be missing their outer shell. That's why we are compared for these 2 elements. The strength of the nitrogen triple bond make the nitrogen diatomic or nitrogen molecule is very unreactive. Because this is very unreactive, triple bond. It cannot reactive for other elements. If it is reactive, it's very rare. It's very rare because of the bond that are present. 4. It will react with hydrogen to form ammonium. It reacts with hydrogen to form ammonium. It makes a little reaction which form ammonium. With the help of high pressures, this will be held high pressure, moderate temperature, and catalyzed with the help of these 3 points. High temperature, moderate, high pressure, moderate temperature, and catalyst will be the factors which help for the reaction between hydrogen and ammonium, and hydrogen and nitrogen. The reaction is reversible. The reaction is being back to this original. So this is a what? This is also called a nitrogen. This was also called a hydrogen. This result will be called ammonium, and this you can destroy for this. So after this reaction, when this reaction takes place, there is 3 things which are being used: high pressure, Okay, modular temperature and catalysis will be take place in here, and the reaction, and this will be the result. Okay, today we stop there our lesson. See you again until next time, inshallah. Everyone, assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.